In Winnipeg, Manitoba, the curling capital of the world, the 23rd renewal of the Canadian Curling Championships for the MacDonald's Brier tankard is underway. With the Manitoba Legislative Buildings as a backdrop, provincial champions parade to the historic amphitheater rink. In the last few years, curling fans all over Canada have thrilled to the victories of Billy Rose, Ken Watson, Frenchie Damour, Jimmy Welsh, Tom Ramsey, and Don Euler, big-name skips with continent-wide reputations. The Chief Justice of Prince Edward Island, the Honorable Thane Campbell, presides over the intricate system of arranging the 55 matches that are played in the 5-day round-robin competition. Frank Hansen, skip of the Prince Edward Island champions from Charlottetown, rolls a numbered P, which mathematically determines the position of Prince Edward Island on the master draw board. Ken Weldon, a youthful skip from the St. George Club in Montreal, gets a welcoming handshake from Jack Dutton of Winnipeg. And the number Weldon rolls fixes the position of Quebec in the draw. Art Condy of Montreal and Bert Cameron of Winnipeg post the name of each rink on the board until each of the 11 skips have had their turn at trying to coax a favorable smile from Lady Luck. Monday morning is the time for the traditional practice matches between the champions and the famous curlers who have been attending the Brier either as spectators or competitors for many years. Bill Gray, a veteran skip from Edmonton. Judge Walter Limerick, a famous curler from Fredericton, demonstrates a smooth delivery. Here's Sam Rothschild of Sudbury. And Walter Cowan of Toronto, Secretary of the Dominion Curling Association. Scotty Richardson of Regina. Now one of the all-time greats, Gordon Hudson of the Winnipeg Strathcona Club, the only skip to win the Brier in 2 successive years. Willie Roy in the colorful regalia of a Quebec curler. Another Western curler, Cease Boyd, Saskatchewan representative on the Dominion Curling Association executive. A Highland pipe band leads the 11 provincial championship rinks onto the gleaming ice surface in the amphitheater. Tommy Tomlin's quartet from Corner Brook, Newfoundland, head the parade of rinks in the opening ceremonies. David M. Stewart of the MacDonald Tobacco Company is going to hold the broom, while Senator John T. Haig of Winnipeg gets set to deliver the first rock. The Honorable Thane Campbell and Dave Stewart sweep Senator Haig's stone to the front of the house, a perfect first rock. An enthusiastic crowd is on hand with the Manitoba champions, skipped by Billy Walsh of the Fort Rouge Curling Club in Winnipeg, established as favorites to win the tankard. The man in the hack is Jimmy Guy of Kenora, Ontario, one of the finest curlers in Canada and skip of the Northern Ontario champions. One down to Frank Hansen of Prince Edward Island, and playing his last rock on the 10th end, Jimmy Guy tries to draw to the front of the house where he lies too, but he's well short of the house. Skip Frank Hansen, with a stand-up delivery, draws to the 8-foot circle. The official Brier umpires, Sandy McMahon and George Henderson of Winnipeg, are called to measure the rocks. The decision goes to Prince Edward Island, who take a 2-point lead over Northern Ontario with 2 ends to play. You can't fail to notice the contrast in the delivery styles of the opposing skips, as Frank Hansen negotiates a perfectly executed takeout shot with his first rock to lie 3. Jack Pike, the police chief of Kenora, gives Jimmy Guy the ice, and Guy, whose Manitoba slide is the most graceful in the business, comes up with a thrilling double takeout. It's Frank Hansen's last rock, and his strategy is to put a guard on his shot rock. Nothing could be neater. The Islanders lie 2, and Northern Ontario is 2 down on the scoreboard, and Jimmy Guy needs another double takeout to stay in the running. This is the kind of curling under pressure that has made Jimmy Guy one of the best shot makers in the business. It's the last end, score tied, and Jimmy Guy concentrates on skipping one of the youngest rinks to ever play in the Brier. Packy Parnell and Leo Frago, the front end of the Northern Ontario rink, are barely out of their teens. But Jack Pike, the third man, has had plenty of experience under fire. Chris Gallant, third for Prince Edward Island, knows he has missed his shot just as soon as he finishes his delivery. He was trying to draw to the 8-foot circle on the opposite side of the house. Look over the entire field of sport, and you'll never see anything to match the effortless and graceful motion of a curler using a full sliding delivery. Jimmy Guy has perfect ice and weight to wick off his third's last rock and lie to. Frank Henson, the Charlottetown automobile dealer, plays it carefully, insured as he is by having last rock. It's a perfect takeout, and he rolls in behind the other Northern Ontario stone for shot rock. This is Jimmy Guy's last rock, and he uses takeout curling technique to remove the shot rock and lie to. Skip Hansen is faced with the kind of shot that will unnerve the most experienced curlers. The last rock has to be right to win. Prince Edward Island has not won many victories in Brier competition over the years, but the caliber of curling in Prince Edward Island is rapidly improving, and that was the shot that proves it. Spotlight now switches to another rink from the Maritimes, Henry Blanchard's foursome from the Truro Curling Club in Nova Scotia. In the sixth draw, the Truro rink met the British Columbia champions from Trail, skipped by Reg Stone. At this point, the Truro rink was unbeaten with 4 wins and had run Nova Scotia's victory string to 14 straight in the National Curling Championship, counting the clean 10-0 sweep accomplished by Don Euler of Kentville, Nova Scotia in the 1951 Brier. The Trail rink at this stage had won 3 matches and lost 2 to Ontario and Manitoba, both by 1 rock. Here on the 11th end, with the score tied at 7-all, Skip Hank Blanchard plays his first rock. Blanchard tries for a double raise, but he is much too light, and even steady sweeping by Larry Hatfield and Ted Henry won't move the rock up enough. Red Stone, a spectacular shot maker, is lying to and tries for a guard to prevent a Nova Scotia draw to the inner circle for shot rock. There's a situation for you. How would you play it with your opponents lying to, the score tied on the 11th end, and it's your last rock? Hank Blanchard and Avard Mann discuss Nova Scotia's strategy from the front of the house. Blanchard decides on a triple raise to move his own gray rock onto the button. But the difficult shot doesn't materialize, and British Columbia counts 2 to take the lead, 9-7. On the final end, let's start with the last rocks of the seconds on each ring. Roy Stone, Reg's brother and a summertime golf professional, sends along a nice draw shot to the back of the house. Ted Henry of Truro takes out the British Columbia, but rolls out of the house himself. Reg Stone wants the front of the house kept wide open. Bill Ross trails third, makes the shot good. Avard Mann, Nova Scotia's third, tries to freeze to the British Columbia's shot rock, but his weight is too light, although his rock is now shot. Get it out of there, says Skip Stone, who takes no chances on Blanchard's ability to score a big end. Nova Scotia did count a 3 on the 6th end in this match. Avard Mann of Nova Scotia was a little light with his first rock, but he makes no mistakes this time, and the freeze is on. Skip's rocks to go, and Red Stone sends down a runner to clear the house. Hank Blanchard has to make both his last rocks count to square the match and force an extra end. All Red Stone of Trail needs is to remove that Nova Scotia rock, and victory is his. Hank Blanchard plays out his last rock, but the match is over. Nova Scotia goes down to its first defeat against the trail rink that carried Ken Watson of Winnipeg right down to the wire in the 1949 Brier in Hamilton. Soon after Newfoundland became the 10th province in the Dominion, they became the 11th entry in the Canada-wide MacDonald's Brier competition. In 1951 in Halifax, Newfoundland gained its first victory in any national sports championship. And this time, the curling club in Corner Brook sent 4 fine gentlemen to the amphitheater in Winnipeg. Here in the 7th draw, Newfoundland in the white sweaters played New Brunswick, the famed Limerick rink from Fredericton. At that point, Newfoundland hadn't been able to win in 6 matches, while New Brunswick had won 2 matches and lost 3. The skip of the Corner Brook rink is a Royal Canadian Mounted Policeman, Tommy Tomlin, who first learned to curl in Alberta. On this 8th end, the Limerick rink counted 2 to pile up a 7-2 lead. The Chamber of Commerce in Corner Brook printed several thousand copies of a special curling newspaper, which was distributed to spectators at the matches in Winnipeg, a fine gesture of friendship and goodwill. Norm Hood, Newfoundland's 3rd, and one of 2 left-handed curlers in the competition, draws to the back of the house to enable Newfoundland to lie 2 in the 11th end. But New Brunswick cleared them out, and skip Ralph Limerick and his brother Art played it cozily to pick up another point and lead 8-4 going into the final end. Newfoundland got one of those back, and the match ended 8-5 in favor of New Brunswick. The Fredericton rink made a fine showing in Winnipeg and wound up the week with 5 victories and 5 defeats. New Brunswick scored over Quebec, Prince Edward Island, Newfoundland, Nova Scotia, and Saskatchewan. In their second last match of the competition, the Corner Brook rink won its first match, defeating Prince Edward Island 11-8. The official umpires and scorers include, from left to right, Sandy McMahon, Arthur Waukee, and George Henderson. In the 8th draw, Frank Hastings, Saskatchewan's champions from the Nipawin Curling Club, takes on the Quebec champions skipped by Ken Weldon from the St. George Curling Club in Montreal. The Quebec rink is wearing the dark caps. The Saskatchewan rink is wearing the light hats. And here on the second end of their match, with Saskatchewan leading 1-0, the Quebec champions and the Nipawin rink provide a graphic demonstration of knockout curling. Ken Weldon, the Quebec skip, sets the broom for his lead. Jim Turney, who was born in Wales. Frank Hastings calls for a fast runner from his second, Al Turner. The second on the Quebec rink is Joe Hawkins, a native-born Montrealer who learned the game in Winnipeg. Al Turner of the Saskatchewan rink favors a restricted slide from the hack, but with plenty of follow-through. Joe Hawkins again with a soft draw to the 4-foot. Now it's the Saskatchewan third, Nels Witherow, and it's a near miss, the first of the match. You've seen this man before, but more than likely cavorting on football fields across Canada rather than on curling rinks. Chess McCants back in his old hometown, and chess has too much weight. Skip Frank Hastings removes the gray Quebec rock, but fails to stick himself. Three rocks still to come, and Kenny Weldon of Montreal draws to the 8 foot. Frank Hastings, a veteran who has been curling for 24 years in Saskatchewan, knows that this shot isn't just the way he wanted it. He makes the takeout, but energetic sweeping by Chess McCants takes the Saskatchewan rock out of the house too. Facing an empty house with last rock on the second end, Ken Weldon has no difficulty making a point to tie the match. This was a nip and tuck game all the way, with a 2-ender on the 12th end, giving Frank Hastings and the Saskatchewan champions a narrow victory. White Stetson hats means the province of Alberta is in the house. Alberta, with the second best record in the Brier over the past 22 competitions with 4 winners, is ably represented this time by Art Simpson from the Bassano Curling Club. Opposing Alberta in another 8th round match is Ontario's championship rink, skipped by Dr. J.R. Clark, a Peterborough physician. When they clashed in the 8th round, these rinks were tied for second place with 5 victories and 1 defeat each. And here on the 7th end, with the white-hatted Albertans leading 5-4, skip Art Simpson sends down a fast one for a double takeout on last rock to increase his margin to 6-4. Alberta racked up a 3-ender on the 9th end to forge ahead 9-5, and the Bassano rink curled carefully, taking no chances on Doc Clark building up a big end. Now it's the 10th end with the skip's rocks being played. And Doc Clark sends down a runner with Alberta lying 3. Alberta is now lying 1, and Art Simpson draws to the very back of the 4 foot. It's last rock, and Doc Clark, the Ontario skip, takes a dead set on Alberta's shot rock. He makes it count, gets 1 point, but Alberta still leads 9-6. Alberta picked up another point on the 11th end and held a 4-point lead going home. Alberta's third, Aubrey Gore, makes a takeout shot look easy. The Ontario third, Vic Brown, who learned to curl on the Saskatchewan prairies, has a little too much weight, and Art Simpson almost sweeps him out of the house. The Alberta third stone, Aubrey Gore, a Bassano wheat farmer, now comes up with one of the best shots of the competition, a sensational double takeout, leaving Ontario with 1 shot rock. Vic Brown is a trifle heavy again and pulls to the back of the 12 foot. Art Simpson rolls off his front rock to the 8-foot circle. And now Alberta has shot rock. Doc Clark, with his first rock, comes down and hits the Alberta guard at the front of the rings, passing it through the house. And Alberta is still shot. Simpson is home free in an important match. He clears out the Ontario rock at the back of the house. The Peterborough rink has conceded the last rock, although it's not played, and Alberta wins 10-7 to remain right on the heels of unbeaten Manitoba. When Billy Walsh's ring from the Fort Rouge Curling Club in Winnipeg hooked up with Henry Blanchard's ring from Truro, Nova Scotia, the ancient Winnipeg amphitheater was filled to its 5,500 capacity. They had come to watch the pre-Brier favorites, Billy Walsh, Al Langois his third, Andy McWilliams the second, and Johnny Watson as Manitoba put an unbeaten 7-0 record on the line against the defending champions from Nova Scotia. And at this point, Nova Scotia had been beaten twice in 7 matches. However, in 2 of his first 3 matches against Frank Hastings, the Saskatchewan skip, and Reg Stone, the British Columbia skip, Slim Billy Walsh had to come up with 2 terrific last rocks to win each of those hard-fought matches by the slimmest of margins. Hank Blanchard again proves that maritime curlers can go with the best of them. He moves the Manitoba rock off the 4-foot and out of the house to lie 3. With the tremendous crowd in the rink, the ice has become swingy. And even a championship curler like Billy Walsh misses them now and then. Blanchard is in no mood to give anything away. Hank Blanchard rubs off one of his own rocks to lie 4, but the right-hand side of the house is wide open, and Billy Walsh isn't one to miss 2 shots in a row. With strong sweeping, Walsh draws into the 4-foot, but he's not quite strong enough. Nova Scotia takes the point and trails 5-4, but Walsh cuts them down from a 4-ender to 1 point. On the 9th end, and leading by only 1 point, Billy Walsh carefully builds the house, and when they come down to the skips rocks, Hank Blanchard finds the ice giving him trouble as he goes right through. Billy Walsh works on the left-hand side of the house, and he draws into the 8-foot to lie 2. Blanchard tries for a double takeout. The only play left for him, he makes the first rock and just fails to get the second one, and Manitoba still lies 1, and Billy Walsh has last rock. Using the beautiful Manitoba slide, Billy Walsh nudges the Nova Scotia rock to count 2 on the end. A 4-ender on the 11th end gave Manitoba a 12-5 victory and set up the showdown clash between Manitoba and Alberta. Art Simpson's colorful Alberta rink had lost only 1 match in 8 starts when they opposed the Manitoba champions in the second last draw. That lone Alberta defeat was an 8-6 game against Nova Scotia, Alberta's second match of the competition. Billy Walsh had swept everything before him, but this was a real test for the Manitobans. Art Simpson missed a rock on the very first end and counted only 1 instead of 2. Alberta was leading 2-0, but Simpson missed both his rocks on the 3rd end, and Walsh moved in for the kill and counted 3 to take the lead. On the 4th end, both skips switched to the draw and freeze game, and Simpson came in with a beautiful last rock to take out the shot rock. Alberta counted 1, and the match was all square after 4 ends. Here on the last rock of the 5th end, Walsh scores a direct hit on the gray Alberta rock, biting a 4-foot, and Manitoba scored 2 for a 2-point lead. On the 6th end, with the skips rocks to come, Billy Walsh sets down a guard, biting the outside ring on the center line. Aubrey Gore, Alberta's 3rd, gives Simpson the ice. And with 3 rocks against him, Simpson goes for the shot rock at the back of the house. Billy Walsh tries to duplicate that shot, but he rubs the guard on the center line, misses the shot rock, and slides out of the house. The house is wide open on the left-hand side, and Art Simpson draws in to count 2, and the match is all even again after 6 ends. The 7th end was knockout curling all the way, with the Canadian Championship riding on every shot. Art Simpson of Bassano, Alberta, draws carefully into the empty house. Billy Walsh, born in Haileybury, Ontario 35 years ago, has been curling ever since he was 15 years old. Art Simpson has been curling for 24 years, and with his last rock, the Alberta skip changes places with the shot rock. Al Langlois, the Manitoba third, holds the broom for Walsh. And industrious sweeping enables him to complete the takeout to count one and assume a 6-5 lead. A missed rock by Alberta's third leaves Alberta lying one as skip Billy Walsh gets set to play his first stone. He takes out the shot rock but rolls out himself. One guard out in front of the house near the center line is all that concerns Art Simpson. And he draws into the house. Here's the perfect curling shot by Billy Walsh. He rolls off the shot rock and in behind his own guard in front of the house. But Art Simpson, not to be outdone, comes right back with an improvement on Walsh's last rock. His attempt to nudge out the Manitoba shot rock is weight perfect, and Alberta counts one to tie again for the third time. On the ninth end, with the score tied and last rock in his favor, Billy Walsh plays it Western style. Art Simpson makes a good shot to remove Manitoba's black shot rock. Walsh rolls off the shot rock and almost gets the button. Art Simpson attempts to pass the shot rock out of the house, and he makes it good. Walsh has the last rock and completes a routine takeout of the shot rock. He counts one, regains the lead 7-6 after 9 ends. On the 10th end, with his shot rock at the back of the house on the center line, Billy Walsh puts another guard out in front. Art Simpson wants to take out the shot rock. But this time, Simpson's weight is light, and he draws to the 4-foot instead. Walsh goes for a takeout of Alberta's shot rock, and he has the champion's touch. With 2 Manitoba stones against him, Simpson decides to take out and lay. But he's too strong. His rock passes through the house, and Manitoba's third, Al Langlois, owns the rock that gives Manitoba another point in an 8-6 lead. On the 11th end, Billy Walsh sights intently along the line of his delivery. Alberta has the shot rock at the 9 o'clock position with a Manitoba stone frozen against an Alberta stone just in behind. Walsh clears off the shot rock, and the black Manitoba rock is now shot. In trying for a free shot, Art Simpson is a trifle heavy, and Manitoba still has the shot rock. Billy Walsh makes a successful kill of the Alberta rock at the back of the house, and now Manitoba lies 2. Art Simpson is faced with a wide-open draw shot to the house. He makes it good. He gains a point, leaving himself 1 point down, but Manitoba will have the last rock on the last end. Andy McWilliams, Manitoba's second, has been curling with Billy Walsh for 5 years, and his fast stone rubs off the gray Alberta rock. Ron McLean, the Alberta second, raises his own stone into the house. Andy McWilliams sends down a sizzling runner that kills both Alberta stones. And with only 8 rocks left in the match, Billy Walsh is successfully gaining his objective of keeping the house clear. Aubrey Gore, the Alberta third, draws up to the front of the house. Al Langlois has curled at the Fort Rouge Club for 20 years, and when he's this close to the Canadian Championship, Al is not missing many shots. Aubrey Gore draws into the front of the house. But Al Langlois, Manitoba's third, takes that rock out, and he rolls over to the side of the 12-foot. 4 rocks still to be played, and Manitoba comes ever nearer another championship and possession of the MacDonald's Brier tankard for the 13th time. Members of all the other competing rinks have finished their matches and seem to be playing every shot along with the finalists. Art Simpson draws in for the shot rock. Billy Walsh tries for a takeout. He makes it successfully, but rolls out himself, leaving Manitoba with the shot rock at the 3 o'clock position right on the sweeping line. Art Simpson needs a fast draw shot to put the pressure on Walsh to make good his last rock, but Simpson's rock falls short of the house. With the shot rock and a 1-point lead, Billy Walsh doesn't need to play his last stone, and Manitoba wins the match, defeating Alberta 9-7. And wins the Canadian Curling Championship with a remarkable record of 10 straight victories, a feat accomplished for the first time in history last year by the Don Euler Quartet from Kentville, Nova Scotia. Now the famous MacDonald's Brier tankard is the center of all eyes, as Jack Dutton, General Chairman of the Playdowns Committee, Senator John T. Haig, and David Stewart pay high tribute to the new champions. It's the lifelong ambition of every curler to take possession of one of Canada's most famous sports trophies, and Billy Walsh thanks his fellow citizens for their support. Chief Justice Campbell congratulates the winners and presents them with individual silver trays. Surrounded by their hard-won trophies, the Manitobans can't easily forget the battle staged against them by the runner-up rink from Bassano, Alberta. Ren Fortier of Montreal presents prizes to a good team that was second best. Here's the victory smile of the Manitoba champions, winners of the MacDonald's Brier tankard.